is the direct quotes from the interview that Mark Ogden did. Harry needs pace around him, but he hasn't had that, said a source close to Maguire. If you put Ruben Diaz in the United defence and Harry in the City back four, Diaz would struggle and Harry would thrive. Harry hasn't had a good 12 months, but he hasn't been helped by those around him, coaches or players, so it's inevitable that his confidence and form have suffered. Sources have said that Maguire's frustration with goalkeeper David De Gea's communications and reluctance to defend further away from his goal line were also a factor in the overall malaise in defence last season. That issue has improved with Argentine defender Martinez's arrival from Ajax and his ability to communicate with and instruct De Gea in Spanish. Wow. So basically, we've got a goalkeeper who can't speak English, and now that we've brought in a Spanish-speaking defender, we're okay and doing better. I've heard some excuses in my life, but that is right up there. Somebody might want to tell this source that David De Gea has been at this club for 10 years. He's played with Rio and Vidic. He's played with many different centre-backs and he can speak English. So, if this person thinks that the problem at the back is because we've got a Spanish-speaking goalkeeper, he might want to check what David De Gea's actual career page is. Check his Wikipedia, mate. He can speak English. We're not communicating with De Gea better because we've got a Spanish-speaking centre-back. I've never heard such nonsense in my life. So thank you, everybody, for bringing that to the attention because that was missed yesterday. Oh, my God. I thought the Diaz thing was bad. That's even worse. The Maguire stuff is a prat move. He's digging himself a grave with the fans, says Sean Collins. And do you reckon we should get Ivan Toney in January along with Tielemans? If not, then who should United sign in January, says Harry? Well, we'll talk about that in a bit because I need to talk about Mane. He speaks very good. De Gea's been able to speak English for years. It's just absolutely ridiculous. The fact that that's been printed. I mean, I almost feel bad for Mark Ogden for printing that. But maybe he's printed it because that's what he was told. Because he would know that David De Gea can speak English. But ultimately, let's go back to the headline. Ten Hag to hold Maguire and Bruno talks. Ten Hag came into the club in the summer and wanted to... Basically, you need to understand what Ten Hag is. Ten Hag is not a people pleaser. He is not a Mourinho. He is not a charismatic manager that wants to be popular with the media. He wants to be popular with the fans and the football world for being a methodical, obsessive football coach. That is what he wants to do. If along the way he picks up friends and everything like that through his interviews and everything, fine. But that's not what he wants to do. He wants his players to play football. He's not interested in what they're doing off the pitch. He's not interested in media deals or anything like that. He made that very, very clear on tour that this team and this dressing room stays tight, watertight, and there are no leaks. Obviously, over the last few days, he's seen leaks coming out again. And when those players return, the club captain, which is Harry Maguire, and Bruno Fernandes, who's the team captain at the moment, will be spoken to by Erik ten Hag as he reiterates his stance from the summer that this has to stop. Now, obviously, some people would say, well, why is he talking to Harry Maguire when the sources close to him have leaked the information? Well, Harry Maguire's the captain of the club. And it may well be that this information has not come from Maguire. It says sources close to Maguire. It could be somebody close to Maguire who's just giving off their opinion that aren't Harry's opinions. But ultimately, it has to stop. And Ten Hag, 100%, will be making sure that it does stop and basically reading the line that if this doesn't stop and it keeps coming out, you will be out. And it doesn't matter whether you're the club captain or you're an 18-year-old in the youth setup. This has to stop because ultimately this team is my vision. We are building something. We're going to keep building something. And players that come into this club will not be tolerated leaking information out. So it's not going to be tolerated just because you've been here for a few years. It's going to stop. And that will be given to the captains. It'll probably say it's the whole squad, but it will be down to the captains to go and sort that out. So, look, it's already happening, but it will be reiterated. As we mentioned last night, there wasn't general happiness about what had been said the day before. They won't be happy about what's happened there. It's undermining to what Manchester United are trying to achieve. Traditionally, it's very difficult to stop because many journalists close to Manchester United will have relationships with players and agents and family members of players. And, you can't... I mean, I suppose the way I would say this is, imagine a scenario where Harry Maguire has not said any of those things. Hasn't said any of them, right? and somebody close to him has leaked that to the press. Absolute stupidity, but very causes problems for Maguire, causes problems for Man United fans, causes problems for Ten Hag, basically just causes problems at a time when we've just won 4 Premier League games in a row. But that is not Ten Hag's problem to solve. He doesn't have to go and speak to that family member, that friend, that agent and say stop doing it. He can't do that. Basically, what you do is you say to that player, and in this instance, it could be Harry Maguire, it could be whoever else. And you say to Maguire, right, at the end of the day, one, you're the captain, and I want you to tell everybody else in the dressing room this anyway, as the leader of the dressing room. But two, that source is saying they're close to you. You need to go and sort that out. I can't sort that out. They're not in my dressing room. That's a source close to you. That could be somebody in your house, your family, your friendship group, your agency. That is for you to solve. You solve it. Because on the next international break or next week, I don't want to see another article from Mark Ogden with Harry Maguire sources slating my team. These are my players. I picked this team. If you want to go in on my goalkeeper, you're going in on me. If you want to go in on the defence, you're going in on me. It doesn't happen, Harry. I'm not blaming you for it. It might be nothing to do with you, but it's your circle. You sort that out. You're a footballer. You're the star of the team. You're the reason they're putting the information out there. They're, you know, if I'd say to Maguire, that story doesn't get written if it's just a source. It gets written because it's a source close to you. They're using your name and it's causing you issues, me issues, the fan base issues. Stop it. And Bruno, that goes for you. And you two, you go and tell the rest of the dressing room that, because I'm going to tell him the same thing as well. And that is where Ten Hag can make a big impact. It needs sorting out, and I'm very confident that Ten Hag will do it. As I said, we were hearing stuff yesterday that Ten Hag's not very happy about some of the stuff that's come out on the international break already, and I don't think he'll be happy with what came out yesterday. So there will be the meetings. Harry Maguire's the captain, Bruno Fernandes is the captain, and they will be utilised under Ten Hag's system to stop it. And it has to stop, because there are people out there. I mean, I know of a few examples at Manchester United and certainly outside Manchester United where people close to players, they love the status of being close to that player. It's like, Bruno's my mate and Bruno's really popular. Yeah. Is that the Athletic? Is that the Sun? Is that I'm really close to Bruno and this is what we're thinking. You know, they become famous off that player. And it's sad because there are a lot of players out there that are good players, good lads, but have people around them that don't look after them in the right way. And Ten Hag, I think, is going to make big changes at Manchester United. He does interviews that he didn't want to in English, sums up Maguire and his leakers. Maybe the back four got better, Harry, as Martinez can organise them, says Seb Watson. I think that ultimately it just needs... My frustration last night, and I think many people's frustration last night, was that it was more negativity that we just don't need at a time of positivity. And that's what will piss Ten Hag off. So I can imagine these talks taking place mid next week when everybody's back, and it'll be reiterated to players individually, as it was in the summer, that, in some ways it would be better if Maguire had done an interview with England and said, if I'd gone to Man City, I think it'd be, whatever nonsense that was said yesterday. If Maguire had said that, you could deal with that easier, because you'd just say, don't do that, Harry. Or don't do that, Bruno, or whoever. But when it's people within your circle leaking information out, that's a problem for the player, because Ten Hag can only say to the player, you need to go and sort it. And this has been going on at United for so long. This is not Ten Hag's problem. It's a problem for him to solve, and he knew it when he came into the club. The leaks that we had last year and the year before that and the year before that, they were there, and it's going to take time to stop them, because if you think about all the leaks last year, it may not have been a Man United player directly. It might have been their agent, it might have been a family member, it might have been a friend. Are those people just going to stop? They've still got the WhatsApp message. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I believe it will happen. And I think if these players cannot stop these people putting information out, they will find themselves out.